are here from Ireland today because you've flown in to meet this 13-year-old child, to take her to the hotel tonight and then take her to watch the football match tomorrow.
By the way, we know what hotel you're staying in. We've got your flight times at lot. So are you saying it ain't you?
I wasn't taking her to a hotel.
Right then. Are you staying in the Hilton? Now, be careful what you say, because if you're not staying in Hilton, this will go. When you go to court, they'll say, well, he lied about, and then they're going to...
Fucking fun, man. And it's fucking
From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, you know.
Now, UKIP MEP Nigel Farage is never one to shy away from controversy, and in this week alone he has flip-flopped on his call for a second referendum on Brexit, as well as calling Taoiseach a European Unionist in Strasbourg yesterday. Nigel joins us on the line now. Nigel, what's your problem with Leo?
Yeah, good evening. Well, just one thing first. I haven't called for a second referendum. I don't want a second referendum. But having seen what happened to you guys after you rejected the Lisbon Treaty and being forced to vote again, I fear the same may happen to us. Now, moving on to your Taoiseach.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry.
That it is a modern-day form of slavery where they take your skills, your expertise, literally for free. They literally take your skills and expertise for free, you know?
Things like one of the leaders of the regulatory community says, my grandson was born this morning and I'm not going to get him vaccinated.
Lovely.
And then they spend the next day talking about how to keep this from the American public, how to hide it from the press, from lawyers, they're terrified of the lawyers. And they were very scared that they themselves would have liability.
Okay, well, I'm just saying it to you.
Okay.
These are the guidelines.
Okay.
All right?
Yep. Bye.
And you just pour it in. It can be any wine. It can be white or red. It works with beer or whiskey or anything of that nature. And what you do is you smell it. And if you can smell the wine, that's a good sign. That means you probably haven't got coronavirus. But the other symptom is that you lose your taste. So after you've smelled it, you've got to...
You know, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, you know, I'd say is will get attention this time. Mm-hmm.
For example, in Ireland from December to March 2020, 0 people died. And in all of 2020, only 100 people in Ireland have died. There is no need for the lockdown. There is no need to prevent people meeting. And I'm very happy to be one of the speakers in Trafalgar Square today to defend our rights for freedom of speech, truth about the virus and freedom of assembly. Hope you come to Trafalgar Square today. Lovely to be here.
It is absolutely bonkers. You'll turn on your best friend, your family member, or somebody that you've known all your life, and you'll break their trust simply just because you believe in the propaganda machine, the RTE, and all the other news outlets across the world, and the so-called government that cares for the people and always has cared for the people, that would not lie, would not be corrupt, would not be deceitful. Time and time and time again to you. So confusing to see how people actually put so much trust and faith into the one government that absolutely has destroyed their nation. Take care, everyone.
A few weeks ago, the Yellow Vests are 100% controlled opposition. They're operating out of the same address as Sinn Féin are in Parnell Square in Dublin. The proof is on my Twitter feed. Check it out. They've since changed their address.
So look, in relation to the pubs, I don't want to speculate any further because I don't want to accidentally add to the speculation that I know has driven vintners and publicans absolutely crazy over the last few months. You know, I know the vintner bodies from my time as health minister. They came to see me. They asked me, would we ask them to close because they didn't believe they could safely open at that time.
So Albert, I've kind of changed.
When you got into the Dáil first, did you get up early?
When I was working as a doctor, I did, obviously, because I had to. When I was in the Dáil, I tend to get up a bit later and work very late, but in the last couple of years I've changed.
Because you didn't have a reputation for getting up early in the morning, in the early years in the Dáil.
No, I would have been somebody who worked very late. People would have talked about me sending emails at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. But
and coming in around 9:30 and things.
Yeah, but I got fit in the meantime, so what I do now is.
Lawrence? No.
Eamon De Valera.
No. Nelson Mandela. Very safe.
Very safe.
I say the number of Fianna Fáil. What would you say, Bertie? Tell the truth. Bertie is the fellow you most admire.
Timing is everything, Vincent. You understand.
Bertie is the guy you most admire. The defence of Bertie all those years. Anyway, Pascal Donoghue mentioned there's a story in the front page of the Irish Examiner.
In many respects of the Good Friday the Croke Park Agreement. No, again, that is legislation that's in place. That's legislation that's in preparation.
Within minutes, an internet comment from a Fine Gael frontbencher up to the political ante.
I tweeted this morning to say that this was one of the most uninspiring performances from a Taoiseach that I've ever heard, and that it sounded like he was somewhere between drunk and being hungover.
And she'll remain a law unto herself, and the Garda Síochána force is secondary to her interests and concerns, and ye are allowing it to happen. You'll eventually get rid of her, eventually, but it'll be too late and too much damage will be done.
In its initial question raised a set of circumstances to me that I responded back to as not being aware of. What I am very, very clear on, and the government are clear on, is that our overwhelming prerogative is the integrity, the reputation of An Garda Síochána. They are...
Sorry, Independent News Service had the tapes for quite a while before you published them.
No, we've had them for a while. Obviously, you'd put a lot of research into a story like this, for instance, before putting it out there. That's normal journalistic practice.
And how long did you have them?
For a while.
Can you tell us how long?
No.
Why not?
Why should I?
Because I'm asking you. And I'm sure
we've had them for a while, Vincent. We were using the time within which to actually gather information about this, about the significance of them, and so on and so forth.
That's fine, but I'm just asking you how long. You don't have to tell us the exact number of days. But all right, okay. Like if politicians behave like that, we don't usually.
Vincent, you spend so much time.
Michael Healy-Rae, we've had our disagreements on this programme. I've described you as a national embarrassment over issues.
I've described you as a couple of things
today
it's not all one-way traffic.
It was a craven leprechaun performance from you today, and I was embarrassed for you that a member of our parliament would be so obsequious to someone who was not answering questions, who was stonewalling and hiding behind his lawyers. Were you not embarrassed with what you had to say? You didn't ask one question, and you were defending the indefensible.
You know, your rudeness goes beyond belief if that's the way you invite a person onto your show and you go slapping the table like a spoilt little pup. Do you know, I'd ask you a question. Who do you actually think you are? Inviting somebody on as a guest and treating them like that and asking a question in an insulting and derogatory way.
How can you justify your performance today?
But an arrogant bully. That's what you actually are now.
It was craven and it was leprechaun because you just want a few quid for a few goalies' nets in Kerry.